We've created this guide to help you buy the perfect office coffee machine, and we hope you find it useful. The first thing is to understand what is a commercial machine. And the difference between a commercial machine and a domestic machine is generally the output that you can put through. So if you're using a machine at home, this is going to have low level output. So you might be having 5 to 10 cups of coffee per day maximum. When we move to a commercial machine, they're going to deliver anywhere between 50, 150, 200 and beyond cups of coffee per day. They're very different products because when you're dealing with coffee, water and milk, the higher the volume, the more complicated it becomes and reliable the machinery needs to be. So that's the main difference between a home machine and a commercial machine. The other point, which is very important, is that if you purchase a home machine and you use it in a commercial environment, very unlikely that you're going to be covered by your warranty because home machines are not designed for commercial use. And that's reflected in the price. Commercial machines will be a higher price because they deliver higher volume, higher quality, and are going to last much longer in that environment. The next question, is a commercial machine right for you? If you're in a small office environment and you're serving less than, say, 15 cups of coffee per day, the answer is probably no. If you're serving over that and anywhere up to, say, 200, 300, 400 and beyond cups of coffee per day, the answer is certainly yes. You also need to consider the cost. Commercial machines are more expensive than domestic machines, and that's a very important point to note. So if you've got a budget that's 2,000 upwards, then you can certainly purchase a commercial machine. If it's less than £2,000, it's unlikely that you're going to be able to buy a high-grade commercial machine at that price. There is, of course, a trade-off. The commercial machine will cost more money at the outset, but you will save money on the coffee that you consume. This seems like an obvious question, but also you want to consider, do you want to serve good coffee? There's no point in investing £2,000, £3,000 in a great commercial bean-to-cup machine that's going to serve a really good quality of coffee through a brewing process if you're going to use a low grade of coffee. So if the answer is that you don't really care about the quality of the coffee that you serve for your team and your guests, it's probably not worth investing in a high-grade commercial machine. If you do want to serve an amazing specialty coffee in the workplace, something that you can be proud of, again, the commercial machine will be good for you. It's also important to remember that your team do see specialty coffee as an amazing perk. We surveyed over 100 offices and we found out that 85% of the people that we spoke to thought that it was really important to have great coffee in their workplace. What's even more frightening is that nearly 70% said that they didn't have it right now and that they were going out to the local coffee shop to buy coffee. So the fact of the matter is, great specialty coffee in the workplace is a perk for your team. And now we can go into a little bit of depth about how you can save money through a commercial machine as well. If you consider the cost of buying specialty coffee for your team members, it's probably going to be around £2 for a great quality espresso from a local coffee shop. If you give them that perk, it's only going to cost you 20 pence, including the servicing of the machine. By investing in a machine like this and a package from Barista Co, you would just save your team £100 a week, which is a massive perk. And the cost to the company is £10 per week, and that's based on 50 cups of coffee. So why fresh whole bean coffee and why not capsules? It's really simple. You'll never see a capsule getting served or used in a coffee shop, and that's because you will get a better standard of coffee out of whole bean coffee in a great quality machine. Typically, a capsule contains 5 grams of coffee, whereas a great quality espresso is going to be more like 15 grams of coffee. Using a commercial machine, we would generally recommend somewhere around 10 grams. So why would you buy a machine over using, say, a capsule machine? Really simple. 5 grams of coffee from a capsule, 10 grams of coffee from a commercial machine, and it's going to cost you around 45p for a capsule and 20p if you're using a bean-to-cup machine. So that means that you're going to get double the amount of coffee for less than half the cost. The next point is sustainability for your business. So if you're buying capsules, you're going to have 25 times the amount of packaging compared to buying a whole bean coffee in a kilo bag. The important points to consider when you're looking for the right machine in the workplace is, number one, how many cups of coffee do you expect to serve per day? This is a really important point because this will define the machine that you choose. Typically, bean-to-cup machines are automated machines based on a certain number of cup serves per day. So for commercial machines, that typically is going to start at 50 cups and can go up and up and up to 500 cups. But a starting point will be 50 cups. The next point you need to consider is, where do you want to put your machine? We think that you should be proud of your coffee and a machine should be put out in a place that's on view. And at Barista Co at work, we can also help you with station build as well. So you can have a standout piece of equipment that can stand in the middle of the office and not be hidden away in the kitchen. Of course, that's your choice, and you can keep a machine in the kitchen place. And it's also important to remember that when you buy a commercial machine, we would recommend that you have a direct water feed. So this is a really important point. If you wanted to put it in the middle of a space, you're going to have to ensure that you've got a direct water feed into that place, and ideally you want also waste out. So location is a really important point, and it may limit where you could put your machine. Next up, you need to consider the type of coffee that I'd like to serve. So if you're using an automatic machine, that means that you will have the choice from espresso through flat white, cappuccino, latte, and also up to hot chocolate as well. If you're just looking for a straight black filter, we would suggest that you could find a different solution, and we also offer those here at Barista Co at work. As we believe in fresh whole bean coffee, we also believe that it's really important that you use fresh coffee to get the best possible taste. Don't believe in using powders within this business, and we want you to enjoy the best possible fresh coffee in your cup. This means that all of our equipment comes with a milk cooler. The entry-level machines will always come with a single cooler, just like this one here, and that means that you can have a single type of milk within the system. So typically we would put in a dairy product within that. If you believe that it's really important to your business to have alternative milk and you want to have two milk solutions, that is possible, but it's going to have a major impact on the price of your equipment. As mentioned earlier, a typical entry-level bean-to-cup machine or automatic machine like this one is going to cost around £2,500. If you want to bring in alternative milk, you can double that cost, possibly a little bit more. So you have to consider how important that really is to your business. There are some solutions to consider, that if you've got people who aren't heavily intolerant to lactose, then you could use the same milk system and change out the milk cartons. So you could keep an alternative milk in the fridge and then also keep your main milk within the milk cooler. The next thing to consider is who's going to clean the machine. If you've got somebody in the workplace who does the cleaning on an evening, it's very easy to brief them, and with the touch of a button they can clean most of the machines through. So it's a very simple and easy thing to do, but somebody must do it. And we provide simple and easy guides on how to do it at the end of every day. Like anything, if you want to prolong the life of your machine, it's really important that you clean it. And that's an important point to consider when you're buying a machine. Who's going to clean it? Because you will have to clean a machine at the end of every day. Good news is it's really simple to do with all of the machines that we have here at Barista Co at work. It's literally the touch of a button, and then you can put it on a cleaning cycle. But it is really important to remember that if you don't look after your machine, and we're dealing with water, coffee and milk, it will break. And if you don't clean it correctly, that may invalidate the warranty that you have on that product. The bit that everybody asks us about and often get a shock on when we talk to them about it is budget. So if you want to have a really good quality machine, you're going to be looking at a package of around £3,000. So that'll be £3,000 to buy the product outright, or you could take that on a lease deal over a 36-month term and you'll be paying around £100 a month. At the end of that term, you can buy the machine outright for around £125 to £150 and you own the machine. Typically, the machines are covered on servicing over a 5-year period. So if you amortize it over the course of that term, you find that actually machines are very good value. If you're looking for a higher volume machine, say 120 cups per day, then typically you'll be looking at around £5,000 for an outright purchase on that package. But you can then spread that over a lease deal over 5 years, and that would bring the monthly cost down to something like £110 per month. You do also need to consider servicing, which is really important when you're dealing with machines like this. They will all need to be serviced. So like I mentioned earlier, the most important thing you've got is cleaning and servicing, and you have to ensure that they happen. If you don't do that, it means that warranties could be invalidated. So it's a very, very important point. First year of the machine, there is no cost at all for servicing, and the servicing charges start in year 2. For an entry-level machine, you'll be looking at around £750 annually for servicing. For our entry-level machines, we often suggest that you use an hourly rate servicing package, and we can provide you with details on that. For the higher volume machine, so 80 cups upwards, you'll be looking at a service package of around £750, and that will start in year 2. So you have no servicing charge at all in year 1. Typically, servicing is required either annually or when you do 20,000 cups of coffee. So if you look at a typical 50 cup per day machine, it's going to cost you around 30p in total for everything per cup of coffee. So you're going to be looking at around 10p, the cost per cup of coffee on the lease deal, and then you're going to be looking at around 18p for the coffee itself and 2 pence for the servicing package. So the total package means that you can enjoy an amazing cup of specialty coffee in the workplace for only 30 pence. That's a type of coffee that would cost £3 in your specialty coffee shop. If this sounds like it might be a little bit out of your budget, we also recommend that you could consider things like a small filter machine as well. They're amazing products if you're happy to have just black coffee or black coffee with a dash of milk. They're one of our favorite products that we have in the portfolio, and we have a number of packages available to enjoy a filter machine with our specialty coffee as well. There are some other things that are really important to consider as well before you buy your office coffee machine. They are, do you have a water filter system? This is really, really important. And when we install all of our machines, we generally install the water systems at the same time. The reason we do this is that we can keep a track on how much water is being used, and we ensure that your machine remains within warranty. If your machine calcifies because you haven't been using a water filtration system and the machine breaks, it means that you will not be covered by your warranty. So it's really important to remember, you've got to use a water system and you've got to clean your machine well. Typically, a basic water system is going to cost you around £200 to install, and it should probably last you anywhere between 6 months and a year. You also need to consider if you want to have tea as well. And if you're going to have tea for your team and your guests, we would always recommend that you buy a water boiler system, because it's best to leave the coffee machines to brew the coffee and use the water boiler systems to have for tea. Typically, a water boiler system is going to cost you somewhere between £300 and £400, so it's something to consider when you're looking at the package. You may also want to consider whether you need a cup warmer. We gear all of our machines to serve coffee at the perfect temperature, but if you put that coffee into a really cold cup, it's going to bring the temperature of the coffee down. In most situations, there's no problem with this at all, but if you want to have a really hot coffee for your team and your guests, you may want to consider using a cup warmer. Alternatively, you can use a water boiler and put water into the cup from your water system before you then use that cup with the coffee machine. At Barista Co, we really believe in the quality and the service of your coffee, and that's why we're partnered with WMF. WMF are one of the category leaders for automated machines, and they serve some of the most prestigious outlets across the UK. We work with them because we believe in the quality of their product and also the quality of their servicing. We know that when there's a problem with your machine, you want it fixed as quickly as possible, because it's really important that we get that coffee in the hands of your team. WMF have a track record of delivering on an amazing service level, and that's why we work with them on the servicing. As well as the machine packages that we offer from WMF, we do also have some additional packages from the likes of Victoria Arduino. So if you're looking for a coffee counter set up within your office and you're prepared to get a little bit more involved, we can certainly help you with this as well. So to give you a top line recap on what it's going to cost for you to have amazing specialty coffee in the workplace, you're going to be looking at around £2,600 for our entry level 50 cup per day bean to cup machine, and that includes your fresh milk cooler. In addition, you need to consider around £400 for your water boiler, and then an additional £200 for your water filtration system. So that brings your total cost to around £3,200 for outright purchase, and just over £100 if you did it on a lease deal over a 3-year term. If you're interested in a lease deal, you've got to have 3 years of positive accounts, and they may also ask for a director's guarantee within the finance package. That's something that we can work with you on between ourselves, you and the lease company as well. Based on these figures, if you consider the lifetime of a great office coffee machine, you should start saving money after 18 months. Bear in mind that the machine typically is going to last 5 years. So that means that for 3.5 years, you're going to be making a saving as around £150 per month compared to a capsule machine. We're really proud of some of the amazing office coffee customers that we supply, and we'd love to have you as part of our family as well. If you've got any further questions, please complete the form and we'll get back in touch with you and give you a custom quote that's perfect for your team, your guests and you, so you can serve excellent specialty coffee in the workplace that you can be proud of.